It also would tell us, you see, this is the important thing, which we can't get to here, but it will tell us how we are different from that, how we need to be different from that, and it will tell us when we are incorporating aspects of that same kind of behavior and thought, you see, which is really not our nature. And that will help us in terms of the cleansing that we have to do. It should remind us how different we are. The concept then, the Asili concept, is a key to explaining European behavior. The Asili concept also allows us to be comprehensive, to look at the whole. The nature of the Asili, that is the European Asili, which is seeking power, European power over other, is always the context for interpretation or analysis of European behavior. Again, the nature of their Asili must always be the context for understanding their behavior. That's simple, it's a rule of thumb, and it's basic to this, this study that we're about to do. The Asili concept particularizes Europe. It does not allow them to hide behind universalism, which is discussed in chapter 10 and in the conclusion and throughout the book. What it does is to reveal European nationalism, European political interest, and European ideology. Now, much of this masking has been done under the language of academia, the thought process of academia. And that is why chapter 1 does so much, spends so much time to scrutinize that language and that thought process. You see, also why it is difficult, because it has got to wean us away from things that we have come to assume because of our training in that thought process, which happens not only at the so-called higher levels of learning. It happens at every level of learning in this culture, and it happens in informal ways of learning, as when one watches television, for instance. So that as a 2-year-old is watching television, that 2-year-old is learning to think in terms of the assumptions of European thought. You see? And in so doing, that masks who they really are. We begin to internalize their truth. That's why we have to do so much work through this chapter 1. So that the concept allows us to do analysis, which is relating each aspect, and synthesis at the same time, which is bringing it all together in a whole. Okay? Both the analysis and the synthesis we can do at once. The thesis here, or one aspect of the thesis, is that if we place an ideological focus on our study of the culture, that what will be revealed is how the culture is really a single, monolithic power machine. Everything in the culture works for European power. But that comes when we put an ideological and political focus in our thinking. The thesis also, more specifically, involves the idea that they have used their epistemology, their concept of truth, to promote their nationalism. They have used their concept of truth to promote their nationalism. What they have done is to use a definition of truth, a reasoning process to achieve power. They have used a definition of truth and a reasoning process to achieve power. And we have to see how, so we're going to do that in chapter 1. They've done this, they've used this definition and this process in this way, but then said to us that they were being universal. And they use the terms of a phony universalism. They have said that they were being non-cultural, non-political, and objective. Okay? That's what they've said. So now, you can look on your own, look at, when you have time, look at the European Asili, which is chart H. Use it, study it, and with that, we're going to move to the text. Hold on to your hat.